Welcome to Wine Soundtrack International. Listen to the passion with which producers narrate their winery and their world. In 30 answers, discover their stories, personalities, and passions.
Hi, Giovanna, and thanks for coming today. It's nice to see you again, and it's great to have you on Wine Soundtrack again. So, Giovanna Trisorio, tell me, so where are you located?
Hello, Michelle. My winery, actually the winery that I work for, Cincinnato, is located in Lazio, 50 kilometers south from Rome, direction Naples, on volcanic hills facing the sea. So we are not so far from the Mediterranean Sea, or more or less 20 kilometers.
Sounds lovely. I'd like to come and visit one day.
It is. It's
great
a
things
nice
about
place.
It. So, how many hectares do you have of land?
In total we have more than 500 hectares, but some of them are olive tree, cultivated with olive trees, and 268 are vineyards.
It's a lot of land.
Yes,
Sounds
almost all the municipality of Cori.
Okay. And so how many bottles per year do you manage to produce?
The total production is 950. We are close to 1 million of bottles.
That's a lot of bottles. Okay. So what type of wine do you produce there?
We are focused on a typical grape, native grape like Nero Buono and Bellone. So we have decided to focus and work and put all our effort on these two grapes, so they are typical from Lazio. The Bellone is really ancient, was described by Pliny the Elder in his books, and Nero Buono is also ancient, but so we don't know a lot about it. There are some books in our library in Cori that describe a grape that could be the Nero Buono in late medieval time.
That's really interesting. So, what percentage of sales do you have in Italy compared to overseas? What sort of ratio?
The sales are almost local, unfortunately, and so just 10% is sell abroad. So, but we are working. This year was totally different. We were
Obviously
starting in many different countries. So, but in 2020 we had to stop, and so we hope that in this year it's going to be better.
I'm sure things will pick up again. Unfortunately, COVID's been the same for everybody, but hopefully later this year, next year, everything will pick up.
Yeah, crossed.
We're all crossing our fingers. So I wonder if you have any recollection of your first memory of wine.
My family, I grew up in the city. I grew up in Rome, so my first memory is actually during the Sunday lunch with my parents. They usually used to drink Lambrusco. It's very unusual, frizzy red wine,
and not Roman,
not Roman, but it was during the 70s. So the wine world was totally different. So, but it was a very happy day for us, and we used to celebrate with a sparkling wine. So that's maybe why I love so much sparkling wine.
Great. Which actually leads me on to my next question. So with regard to consumer education, to drink moderately, of course, what, in your opinion, is the right age to start drinking wine?
Usually there is not exactly a perfect age to start. Usually more or less around 17, 18. But the most important thing is how to approach to the wine. It's not the age. So you have to be curious. You have to smell it. You have to know where it is more also many things about agriculture point of view. I mean,
do you think it's right for parents to let their child have a little taste of wine to get them accustomed to it?
I used to do with my my nephew. I used to dip his finger in the red wine when he was a child. So, but it was just for fun, and I mean he has now a very good approach with the wine. He's a good chef also, so and I think it was a nice approach just to have a fun a little bit, but
it doesn't become the forbidden fruit that you're always longing for. Okay, so what does a teetotaler lose out on by not tasting wine at all?
I mean, the wine for me is related to, as I said, the happy memory, have a fun, and also discover a place. And it's always related with food. So to discover the food culture in a town and in a country. So it's they're losing an experience.
Okay, that's the way I feel about it as well. I'm obviously not a teetotaler. So do you believe in a perfect variety?
No, not at all. I mean, I love the difference in everything.
So on the various social networks, which do you think is the best for spreading your image?
We started to use a lot the social network during the last year, and at the moment we're using all different social, so Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and also newsletter. So we try to involve in a different way the consumer or the people that are just interested to discover something new or more about us and wine.
Okay, so you don't have a preferred network?
No, actually.
Bit of everything?
Not, I mean, for the company. I mean, I just stick on Instagram and Facebook. I mean, from my personal point of view, I use those two more.
So you're not an actual striker and post 20 times a day. You're more of a voyeur.
Yes, definitely.
So how much is your Cellar's most expensive bottle?
18, 16 euros. So it's not a lot. I mean, our philosophy is to have always an approachable wines on talking about price.
Okay, so if you could do an advert for your cellar and the copywriters proposed that you be the celebrity endorsing your own product, a bit like Giovanna does for his tortellini, would you accept?
Oh, I always, I have a difficult, I always feel very embarrassed showing myself. So even with the interview like today, I feel so embarrassed. So I don't think I will be the perfect person.
No, it's really lovely talking to you. I think your answers are also very interesting. So, a VIP photographed by a paparazzi in a restaurant. On the table is one of your bottles in all its glory. Which famous person would you choose to be there drinking that bottle?
For sure, the Queen. Yes, Mother Queen, because it's something really unusual that you don't expect from her, drinking a glass of wine.
Gin, probably.
Yes, gin. Oh, tea.
Tea. At wine shows, what absolutely cannot be missing from your stand?
Smile.
Great answer. So if you're traveling the world abroad, not so much lately, unfortunately, but which is the best foreign wine that you've ever drunk? And the opposite, which was the worst that you ever drunk?
I love to try wines everywhere where I go, and I always bring back to Italy bottles. I have in my luggage always a wine souvenir, and so I cannot say that there is one. I love German Riesling, and I love white French wine. So those are, I'm more European wine drinker, but also I found very lovely wine in USA, on Argentina, of course. So red wine. So it's always an experience. I cannot say that there is anything better or worse. Also, the worst wine could be very interesting to try.
If aliens land on your property, which of the wines from your cellar would you let them try?
For sure, Nero Buono Cora is our selection of Nero Buono because it's the expression of our terroir, so volcanic soil. It's a red wine, so it's could be age. So I think Cora, definitely.
I'm sure they'd love it. This would be nice to see the aliens as well. Okay, so each vintage is a different story, or not. In other words, are there more things that repeat themselves or the opposite? No, are more the difference. I mean, I always think of each vintage, not just about the vintage, but all the year. So each of them, it's very different. I have memory of very cold spring and very hot summer. So each year is different, and also the memory that I have of that year is different. So which of the wines from your cellar has given you the most satisfaction?
As I said, I love sparkling wine, so I love my Metodo Classico made with the Bellone. I think it's amazing, and I just love to drink it. And so, but we just started to sell it. It's 2 years that is on the market, so it's growing. It's not, of course, the best seller, but it's something that I always love to show to our customers.
Great. So you're nurturing that product. Mm-hmm. So, what's your opinion of wine guides, if I may ask?
They were very important, but with the social media, they lose a lot of importance. But they still have to. They still have something to tell to us. It's important also to listen to the guide and to know how the wine world is going, what is doing. So they still. Point of reference. Do you say that? Reference point.
Yeah, that's correct. Do you believe that guides, Italian or foreign press, can influence choice in production, or is it more the consumer?
Before they used to have a lot influence on how the winery used to the choice, but I think now it's the market is totally changed, so it's more direct on consumer. So thanks for social media, so everybody can express the opinion, and you have contact with all of them. So now it's more connected to the consumer.
So when you were little, what did you want to do when you grew up?
Oh, many things, many things, and of course, I don't know, because I had so many different desire. For sure, teacher, as many child, and a journalist. But for sure, the desire that influenced more my life was missionary. Because I wanted to go to Africa, and so that's why I started to study agriculture, because my dream was to go to Africa and help the population there to grow the maize, our culture. Yeah.
So that's sweet. So, getting back to wine. So I think I already know the answer to this, but white, red or rosé, and whether still or sparkling?
White, definitely. White and definitely sparkling.
And talking about sparkling, Italian or French?
I have to say French, but also, I mean, Italy is really growing. I mean, it's every year I discover an amazing metodo classico, really very interesting. But of course, France is the history of bubbling.
It's fair enough. Have you ever paired white wine with meat or red wine with fish?
Oh, definitely. I always open the bottle before and I decide what to cook. So if I have a white and I have just meat in the refrigerator and the freezer, I add to the red.
So how many glasses or bottles of wine are needed to get you drunk?
Before, I mean, a few years ago was 2 bottles, but now I'm reducing, so 2 glasses. it's enough now.
And what's your remedy for a hangover?
Sleep and drink a lot of water.
And if you're having a really seductive soiree, which wine would you order?
Of course, men usually prefer red wines, so I'm gonna go to a Tuscany red wine or something usually classical.
In your opinion, what's the nicest film dedicated to wine? Do you have a favorite?
I don't think that there are so many movies. No, there are a few, and some of them are nice.
And when you're not working, how do you spend your free time?
Before COVID, I used to go. I love music, so definitely I used to go to the concerts, and that was my passion and gym. Now I just love to read and listen to the music at home, and I started my chess classes, and I started classes of smell. I'm starting to be very curious about perfume world. So with the internet, it's possible to do classes at home with all this little perfume and smell it. So I'm discovering something different.
Useful for wine as well.
Yes, it's smell. Very, very interesting. Yeah.
We've got a lot in common. So some people read tea leaves in the bottom of a cup, but if you could read the bottom of a wine glass, what do you think it would reveal? What would you like it to reveal?
For me, at the moment, the must that I can desire is serenity. Definitely.
Great. And have you ever had anybody read your tarot cards?
Oh, yes, I did. I did everything. Hands, coffee, and tarot cards. I love it. Just curious. I don't believe it, but I love to do it.
What sign of the zodiac are you?
Aquarius.
Okay. And do you support any teams at all? Any sports?
Sports. I love to run now. I have to say that I'm getting older. I love to trek.
Where did you go on your first date?
The first date was actually a restaurant, and I remember the wine that he ordered, but it was really so many years ago. So he at that time was in fashion Galestro, so he ordered Galestro, and I was so excited.
And where did you go on your second date?
No, I don't remember.
What was the best piece of advice you ever received?
I have received many advice, but always I think that the most important is the example that the people they do with their life. It's not the words that they say, but how they live and act. So I prefer to just have some person that I admire and follow them.
What would you consider the best advice to give to us?
In Italy, we say to see the glass half full. Talking about wines is the most obvious.
Absolutely agree. Did you enjoy our interview?
Yes, a lot.
Give us a vote from 1 to 10.
10.
Oh, were you honest?
Yes, I am. It was fun.
If wine was a song, which one would it be?
A song?
Yes.
I love summertime.
Complete this sentence. A table without wine is like...
A vase without flowers?
Great. Okay, now I think I've asked you so many questions, and it's just to round off, it's time for our notorious little game about famous personalities. So I say the name of a famous person, and you tell me which wine you would associate to them. So you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Nicole Kidman?
She's so elegant. Chardonnay. French Chardonnay.
Tom Cruise?
A red wine, American red wine, Cabernet. That's it.
How about Silvio Berlusconi?
If I think about him, I can imagine he's quite old. So I can imagine an aged bottle of Chianti.
And how about Queen Elizabeth?
Oh, yeah, she's my sparkling wine.
Okay, great. And just the last one, let's choose Laura Pausini.
I don't know which country, where is she from, but I can imagine Lambrusco.
Okay, great. Well, that's it. And thanks so much. But will you just remind us where your cellar is, how to reach it, and maybe your web address?
The Cincinnato is in Cori, and the website is www.cincinnato.it.
Oh, great, thank you. And I hope everybody will follow you on your social sins, that you're so active on them. Thanks again, Giovanna.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening to a new episode of Wine Soundtrack International. For details and updates, visit our website, winesoundtrack.com.